This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. We keeping a foot on the what? On the next. We keeping a foot on the what? On the next. Let's get on to it, man. Wow. Allen Iverson. AI, man. You represent Philly, dog. You know the meat meal terminology, man. There's levels to this stuff. There's gears, y'all. Let me say it again. There's levels to this stuff. There's gears. Right now, you brought yourself down to the gears. Here's why you did that in its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat fashion. Allen Iverson sold out, y'all. I'm sorry to say this to y'all, but he sold out. And the reason why Hino's Sport is saying that Allen Iverson sold out is because Allen Iverson has been Lebought and Lepaid for. Let me say it again. He's been Lebought and Lepaid for. I can't believe that he had the nerve and the audacity to come slide out of his mouth to say that LeBron James, I'm sorry, Michael Jordan, LeBron James is the one. Really, dude? When you sat here and you said you idolized MJ, that came out of your mouth. You sat here and said that MJ is the greatest basketball player for years, number of years. That came out of your mouth. You went so many times for years when people were talking about LeBron James and how LeBron James on the Pantheon of Greatness was supposedly the greatest of all time, but really he was the greatest of all trolls, or the guff of hope, the greatest finals failure of all time. Let me say it again. The greatest of all trolls, or the guff of hope, the greatest finals failure of all time. But you sat there and said, y'all sitting here talking about Jordan and LeBron. Y'all act like Kobe. Y'all forgot about Kobe. Y'all act like Kobe wasn't nice like that. You were the one that always made sure that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant was always ahead of LeBron. Now all of a sudden you sold out. Now all of a sudden you're saying that LeBron James is the one. Allen Iverson, man, I can't believe I'm telling you this, bro. But cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion, it makes no exception for anybody. Anybody can get it. So, like the Tibetan mastiff that I am, I'm applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Listen, Allen Iverson, I can't believe I'm doing this, but you know, in the finger wagging, go sit down somewhere and what? Higgity fucking hush. Stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. AI. Go sit down somewhere and what? Higgity fucking hush. Hino's Sport has been proven to do this to NBA stars. I did this to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar when he got slapped to the mouth and he tried to say that LeBron James was the GOAT. And I basically had to say that he had to be knocked down a few pegs. I'm doing this to AI right now. You're Lebought and Lepaid for. This is what Hino's Sport was talking about. And the prediction, King strikes again. And the prediction, King strikes again. When he told you guys about neuro-linguistic programming. When he told you guys about what was going to happen. But you guys wouldn't listen, man. Because Hino's Sport operates in Sun Tzu, a.k.a. Art of War. 7 steps ahead of the game. 48 laws of power on that ass. I'm always ahead of the fray. You guys are late to the damn party. And every time I keep trying to tell you guys this stuff via Hino's Sport discernment fashion, via Hino's Sport Batman fashion, via Hino's Sport deduction fashion, you guys cannot see the reasoning because you don't operate on this analytical reasoning ability. You don't operate on this critical, strategic, and tactical thinking ability. I'm not a regular cat, nor do I think regular, nor do I reside in regular rums. Let me say it again. I'm not a regular cat, nor do I think regular, nor do I reside in regular rums. So I'm not going to think regular. I'm always going to think special. And I told you they were going to make a folklore out of this LeBron James, Lakaka least path of resistance NBA title. This fraudulent, fluky, on-the-spot NBA title. And people are getting caught up. Oh, look at the Lakers are struggling. They're struggling. Don't get caught up in the Rudy Poo and the Plum Plum Bank stuff. Don't get caught up in the classic Dodo and the Troglodyte stuff. Don't get caught up in the ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy and ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric stuff. You guys have to see the cold-hearted, unadulterated, cutthroat truth-telling fashion that's associated behind all of this stuff. They have to give you the ebbs and flows. They have to give you the peaks and valleys. They have to give you the trials and the tribulations. They have to make it seem like this is real so that you actually think that the Los Angeles Lakers may not have a chance or an opportunity. But lo and behold, what you think is going to happen? Allen Iverson is on a long list of what we call LBJ Riders Media, LBJ Brigade, LBJ Apologists, and LBJ Stands that have been brain full of mush and brainwashed and thereby turned into dodo heads. This man is Lebought and paid for officially now. And until he comes back and renounce this nonsense that he just said, I'm sorry, Michael Jordan. LeBron James is the one. Are you serious, Allen Iverson? I think Allen Iverson's been drinking too much. You know, I've been paying attention to his substance abuse issues over the years. And I think it's been catching up to him. Because if you guys have been noticing, he's been slurring his speech. His speech patterns are not the same. I don't know what kind of substance abuse he's engaging into, but it's kind of not to the extreme of a Steve Francis, but it's extreme nevertheless. Let me say it again. It's not to the extreme of a Steve Francis, but it's extreme nevertheless, and I think it's caught up to him. Now he's just spewing anything out of his mouth. We know that LeBron James looked up to you. We know that LeBron James had high things to say about you. But that doesn't mean you have to be Lebought and Lepaid for. You are your own guy. This is why we respected AI, because he stood on his own too. But this one right here, we have to bring his ass down to a peg. We have to bring him down a few pegs. Because you don't ever utter rubbish like this out of your mouth. We know the only person who deserves honorable mention in being compared with the likes of an MJ23 is KB24. Because he did the work to deserve and merit the comparison. Let me say it again. He did the work to deserve and merit the comparison. Not no damn LeBron James. Not a guy that lost as many finals as Michael Jordan. Let me say it again. Not a guy that lost as many finals as Michael Jordan. How? AI. You understand this basketball shit at the highest levels. But apparently, you're Lebought and Lepaid for it. And I think those substance abuse issues are finally catching up. I had to keep the foot on AI's neck. Let me say it again. I had to keep the foot on AI's neck. Because I'm sick and tired of the foolery and the nonsense that's going on right now. Hino's Sport told you guys this folklore story was going to come out. And there was going to be some weird shit that was going to happen. What's more weirder than AI? A guy that's always standing on a certain position, all of a sudden get leproselyzed. He went from apostatized to then being leproselyzed into giving you foolery and nonsense. Let me say it again. He went from being apostatized and leproselyzed into giving you foolery and nonsense. AI, I can't believe I'm doing this again because you're one of the guys that I respect. But he knows the sport because I'm the ultimate truth teller out here in these YouTube streets. And nobody gets an exception to the rule when it comes to a cold-hearted, unadulterated, cutthroat truth teller fashion. Have to wag the finger, dog. Stop the presses and pump the brakes on the nonsense. Go sit down somewhere and what? Higgity fucking hush. AI, you lost some big time respect in He Knows the Sports book. This is He Knows the Sport. Check it out.